Good afternoon, everybody. We are in Claxton, Georgia. We're actually sitting in the parking lot for the Huddle House in Claxton, and we're here to pick up right down the road. Well, hold on. We're going to talk a little bit about a few things that we've been seeing YouTube videos on, and we'll be right back with you. Good afternoon, everybody. Today is August 21st, 2023. We're in Claxton, Georgia. We were sent down here to pick up from the cold storage, Claxton Cold Storage. Our appointment's at 7 p.m. We got here, around 2 p.m. And they said at 4 p.m. a new crew came in and we'd probably be getting a call soon. It is now
a little bit after 5.
Yeah, a little bit. It's like 5:20, and we decided we'd go ahead and make a video before we laid down. We're parked, like I said in the intro, we're parked at the Huddle House. There's actually 10 spots available here for trucks with trailers. It was really nice. We had, she's after her food. There was also right next to, what was it down the road? Subway. Right next to Subway, there's a lot that is paved. It's under disrepair, but they allow trucks to park there as well. So we went in, we checked in, and then I PC'd down here because I've checked in and I'm waiting for my load. We'll PC back, we'll get loaded. Then we'll make a decision on whether we're going to finish our 10 or not. Our 10's up at 1 a.m. But while we were here, we walked down to CVS and to the Dollar Tree and all, and just looked around and had some fun. On the way up here, we saw these. It was a fruit stand, and it had some weird name of something. And we thought about stopping, but there wasn't anywhere for an 18-wheeler to stop. So we saw them again at the. Put my mic down here a little bit and turn down my AC a little bit. We saw them again, and I recognized it, and they're called Scoopernongs, Scuppernong grapes. And we looked at them, and we're from Louisiana. We're used to different things, and this is what they look like. And I told my wife, said, "Hey, babe, these look like what?
Muscadines.
Right, they look like muscadines." So we got them. They are plump. They're squishy. So we expect them to be sweet muscadines. And that's exactly what they were, was sweet muscadines. So we got,
different name.
Yeah, just different names. So we got this little thing of them, and we've been munching on them as we were walking around. I'm waiting for her. She's over there feeding our daughter's dog. Yeah, I'm waiting for her to stick one in her mouth.
Accidentally.
Yes. So, what I wanted to talk about today, and she has no idea about this, about 2 weeks ago, our CEO, Rob, said that they're trying to limit by about 450, 470 trucks. Didn't say drivers, said trucks. And a lot of people are going crazy over it, saying that, oh, Prime's going under, Prime's this, Prime's that. Here's the thing. Prime has enough contract freight to keep going for a while. What's happening is, number one, and this is another part I want to talk about, is, and we've already talked about it before, is Prime has always said 7 years is a cutoff for your truck. We contract with people saying we use newer equipment. So at 7 years, If you own the truck, you either need to get a new truck or go somewhere else with that truck, with that particular truck. So the pandemic hit, parts availability was low. The trucks themselves, the availability was low. So they couldn't do that because we couldn't keep up the supply in such a large fleet of having brand new trucks. So they let it go. Okay? They say you can keep the older trucks until we can get the supply back. Now they've started allowing these mini fleet drivers, micro fleet owners, to order more than one truck a year. And so now they're telling them you can order as many trucks as you have down payment for. So the next logical step was for them to tell you any trucks over 7 years old, no more. You can keep them, you can sell them. We don't care what you do with them. They just can't pull prime freight after this date. And I think the date is like September 31st or something like that. I don't remember. So that was step one. Step two, because so many people are replacing so many trucks so quickly, they're limiting the trucks in the fleet to make sure that we have enough freight. Now they have extended, to 50,000 miles for the training. They're hoping and trying to recruit more team drivers because we have team freight. A lot of our freight is team freight. And then they're also basically he's trying to make it to where the drivers that are out there right now working for him, working hard, still have freight. Now here's the thing, a lot of people are jumping on that saying, oh, they're not, Prime's going under, they're not hiring, they're not this, they're not that. There was a slowdown in hiring about a month ago. We've made it by two terminals, Pittston and Springfield, in the last couple of weeks. And you keep feeding her treats, she's gonna get fat. That's about the 10th one you fed her. Anyway, where was I now?
You were at the terminal.
Yes, we were at the terminals. And at both terminals, when we stopped about a month before, we're talking classes. At Piston, it was a class of 5 people, and there was a class of like 3 upgrades. Now, at Springfield, there was like 15 people in the class. Now, there is, at Springfield, when we passed by the last time,
There was
it's
quite
like
a few new trainees. I don't know how
50
many.
to 60 new trainees. And in Pittston, there was like a class of 25 is what the girl was telling us, that she was in a class of 25. So hiring has picked up. Expect that they're going to, try to keep your team a little bit longer. And the other thing about that is they're expecting people to leave and people to go other places. And we're getting a lot of drivers back from other companies that left Prime thinking the grass is greener somewhere else. And yeah, they were getting more per mile or a higher percentage, but they weren't getting the freight. Now, another thing we've been talking about today, and we're going to try to cut it short because I do want to get some sleep, but my wife hasn't been. Did you want to add anything in what we've talked about so far?
A whole bunch. Except for the dog's not fat yet.
Say it a little louder so the mic will pick you up.
The dog is not fat yet.
Okay.
She likes treats.
What dog? Well, no, I'm not gonna say what dog doesn't, because our other dog, she don't like treats. No. Anything processed, she won't eat. We had a chocolate lab like that too. All right. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that there are several people on YouTube that just left Prime who are bashing Prime. One guy's been gone for 2 months now and still every week getting on and bashing Prime. Here's the thing. The way I feel about it, you don't like the company? Fine, go somewhere else. but don't bash the company after you've left it. I mean, just go. You don't need, if that's the only way you can get views is just complaining all the time. And I know several people, that's all they do is complain, complain, complain. And then at the end say, oh, use my driver code. If all you can do is complain to get viewers, then why are you doing it? But we've been hearing a lot of people talking about, oh, the leasing and the one. We were sitting in Huddle House just about an hour ago eating, and I watched a video. I'm not going to give the guy's name. And while I'm thinking about it, our godchild's birthday is today. Not going to say her name.
Yay.
But because we don't like to drop names unless you say we can. And we're not even sure she watches the channel. But we wanted to say happy birthday, girl. Yeah. I know we already told you on Facebook, but yeah.
Happy birthday.
Hopefully the mic's picking that up. It usually does. She's talking really quiet today. Anyway, he left. No, this one hasn't left Prime. He's still with Prime. He still says he's going to drive for Prime. But he's complaining he took a short-term lease, and then he looked at what had been worked on the truck, which is a good idea. Always look at that service report. Then he decided he's going to drive for a year. He said there was no maintenance to do on the truck. There was nothing. It never went to a shop, never nothing. So he was expecting his full bonus, end of lease bonus. Well, when he got there, they charged him for, of course, the paint chips, the peeling paint, the dents. They said that they had to replace part of the subflooring in the cab. Probably something was spilt, whether it was him or not. Something was spilt, and which rotted the floor. The base of the passenger chair was needed to be replaced. It was broken. So if he watches our channel by now, he already knows who we're talking about. Then he said that they also charged him for a new leaf spring and a U-bolt. Well, and he's constantly complaining through it. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know these things. I wouldn't know to look for these things. I wouldn't know how to fix these things. Well, here's the thing. What bothers me on that is that's part of your pre-trip. That's part of you learning how to drive a truck. That's part of something you do every single day. You pop that hood, you check those leaf springs. Every single day you check your U-bolts. Every single day you check your shocks. I mean, I just went to the shop to get my brakes looked at because they needed to be adjusted. There was a clunk whenever I hit my brakes hard. And I noticed the shock was leaking. I had them replace the shock while I was there. And it had just started leaking. It didn't even have enough oil leaked out yet to reach the bottom of the shock. That's how attentive you need to be on your trucks. You need to be on top of that. And if you don't know, if you're just going through, and this is for you people in training, and you people who have gotten out of training who still don't know, if you have a question, you see me or my wife, stop us. We'll help you. Just about every single Prime driver out there will stop and help you. Ask questions. If they don't know the answer, ask again. If you just want to go straight to the source and ask, send us a question or send us a personal message through YouTube, with your question. We will get you the answer. I'm certified tech. My wife's a certified automotive tech. We can describe to you what to look for on your pre-trips. But that U-bolt and that leaf spring should have been checked daily. If that U-bolt was gone long enough for that leaf spring to shift or crack or break, then you weren't doing your pre-trip every day. I'm sorry. You weren't looking for the right thing if you were. And this is one of the things that if you don't understand why you're looking or what you're looking for, you need to ask during training. That's why just about every one of my videos, I'm telling you, you are just as responsible for your training as the company and as your trainer. You need to ask questions. Why do we do that? What am I looking for? If your trainer taught you to go out there with a tire thumper or a hammer and pop on your tires, he taught you wrong. These tires hold 100, 110 pounds of pressure when they're supposed to be full. For the last 10 years, Michelin and Goodyear at the truck rallies have set up booths and giving away, I think one year I heard they were giving away $100. Another year they were giving away a free set of steers if you could tell which tire was low by thumping it. And they hand you a tire thumper or a hammer. One tire was at 70 pounds, 70 psi, 40 less than what you're supposed to have. And not one person in 10 years has hit those tires with a thumper and said, this one's low. Not one. That is not an indication that you have a low tire. That will tell you if you have a flat tire. If you have a low tire and you go down the interstate and you lose more pressure and it becomes flat, that is a hazard that you could have fixed with just adding a little bit of air had you checked them properly. So, moral of the story, save yourself money at the end of your lease by doing your pre-trip every day. Save yourself heartache by doing your pre-trip every day. And stay safe by doing your pre-trip every day. You have anything to add on pre-trip?
Do your pre-trip.
Okay.
And the sun doesn't like me today.
And then, let's see, I forgot. Oh, yeah. One other thing. Read through your contracts when you lease. Okay? I'm not going to tell you you should lease, you should not lease, you should go company or anything like that. That's for you to decide. And by the time you finish your 50,000 miles, you should know if you want to or not. If you want a steadier paycheck and less liability, company is the way to go. If you want more money, and believe me, there's more money. It's not there every single week, though. Last week, we had a $308 check. We spent half the week at home, though. We've had a couple of checks. We had an $800 check. We had a $400 check. We average about $2,700 a week. We've had a few $3,000 checks. That is the nature of leasing. You pay for your fuel. You pay for your maintenance. You pay for all that. And whenever that maintenance comes, we have an emergency fund that will allow us to do that. We have a tire fund. I do suggest, not going to tell you definitely do this, but I do suggest if you haven't been in the trucking industry for more than 6 months, you should probably be a company driver for at least 6 months, 6 months to a year. In 6 months to a year, you'll usually have 1 or 2 fender benders. You'll usually back into someone's truck, or someone will back into yours because you're parked on the end of the lane. You stacked somewhere and someone sideswiped your trailer. You backed into a dock and bent your ICC bumper. Someone else was backing into a dock and you weren't paying attention and they hit your truck. There's lots of things that can go wrong. And in that first year, if you're a company driver, the company absorbs those costs. They absorb that $1,000 every time your truck gets hit or you hit a truck. That $500 every time the trailer gets hurt. $500 every time the cargo, there's cargo claim. They absorb all that. Whereas as a lease driver, you absorb that. You pay for that. Yeah, there's more money, but what good is more money if you're going to spend it plus some because you're inexperienced. All right. Anything to add to that?
Talk to people, because there's people who've been doing it a while, and if you have questions, don't just, fake your way through it. Talk to people and find out the answers before you make a decision. It's always best to make an educated decision.
And another thing, to expand on that, when you talk to people, listen to what they're saying, but also do your research. Because a lot of people will say, oh, don't lease right now because there's no money. There's no money. There's no money. Well, 2 years ago, they were making $5,000 a week, clearing $5,000 a week, bringing it home. Don't do this because you won't make any money. But $3,000 to him is barely making it because he's made a lot of bills. If you're like us and you don't have hardly any bills at home, $1,500 a week is plenty for us. And we can put some up, and we're putting some up for retirement, and we're putting some into a crowdfunding real estate. I mean, we're making it easily on that. And you may be in a similar situation. You may be in a situation where you can live off of $700 a week or less. Maybe you don't have a house note. You don't have car insurance or a car note. All you have is your cell phone bill. And the food that you put in your truck. You can live off of very little and save up all the rest and buy you some property in a house, in a couple of years. So listen to them, but also think of where they're coming from. If they're an experienced driver and they're saying, oh, you're not going to make any money, you're going to spend more, do this, do that, don't take it with a grain of salt. Or ask them, well, how much are you bringing home each week? What's your average? Why, okay, you're getting about $3,000 a week. Why do you think that's not enough? Maybe it's not enough for you, but man, that's plenty for me. I mean, we're talking $3,000 a week. That's $12,000 a month. I mean, look at what you're going. And if you run hard and you take every dispatch they give you, and you run hard like you should, and you're not refusing loads and getting sales upset with you. It's not going to be your fleet manager. It's going to be sales. That is when you start making those, grossing $2,000 a week. We gross anywhere between 3 and 7 a week. And we keep going, and we're happy with it. And I mean, we eat 1 to 2 meals in the truck. We eat out every night, and and we're not talking about. We'll find a place. We hardly ever eat in a truck stop. We'll find a place, like we'll drive down to a Huddle House. We'll get a ride to a DQ, go for a walk to a restaurant, Waffle House, an Olive Garden, something where we can just sit and relax for a little while.
Drink some tea.
Yes.
It's hot.
And the last thing I want to touch up on the lease stuff, and I mean, there's so much I want to talk about, but last thing I want to touch on is this. They suggest that a month to 2 months before you turn your truck in, to bring it up to Springfield, have the mechanic shop check it out completely. And you go in there and you tell them, I want an inspection for end of lease. They will inspect that truck as if it's the end of lease. They're going to give you a complete list of everything that needs to be fixed. Then you go to the body shop and do the same. Okay? That's the shops that are going to look at it and put on that paper what you owe. Okay? And it's true. A lot of the stuff that they're going to have you pay for at the end is warranty stuff. But if they're doing it in their shop and it's not being warranted by Freightliner or Peterbilt or anybody, then they're going to charge you. All right? Getting a detail on it is not going to help you. Clean out the inside. They're going to charge you a minimum detail. A minimum. And then after that, if that guy is still in there working, still in there scrubbing, still in there spraying things down, if he's smoking that truck, get ready for a big one, because they got to get all that nicotine off every window. If they're still paying that guy, they're going to charge you. And I think it's something like $60 or $90 an hour for it. It's not cheap. Okay? Run through a truck wash and clean it out as best you can before you turn it in. You're not doing it, don't pay for a detail, because they're still going to detail it. Get your armor all out, wipe everything down. If you've been keeping up with your truck, cleaning it once a week, it shouldn't take you long. Get all your crap out, put all their crap in. They're going to detail it. There's no reason for you to pay for it. It's how long that person needs to detail, how much work he has to do. And then if you have the time, be there when they inspect it. Because when you bring it in that month or 2 months before and they give you that whole list of stuff, fix as much as you can. Go by the dealership, have them fix as much as they can, as long as it's under warranty. Got to look at, that powertrain's under warranty. But if they fix it, they're going to charge you. Get everything fixed that you can for free. If you can't, find someone who can fix it, then you can spend less money than you would there. Now, you're not going to spend less money at the dealership. If the dealership comes in and has to redo your cabinets, you'll spend less money at Prime. But you're doing yourself a favor finding out everything. And then whenever you bring it in and they say, oh, well, the leaf spring shifted, you can say, no, it was on your report a month ago. I had that fixed. Here's the ticket for it being fixed. Then they'll move on to the next thing. If you're not there and you can't dispute it, you better have pictures to send in. They try to work with you the best that they can, but they don't know. They weren't in that truck when this happened. They weren't in the truck when it was fixed. You have anything to add to that?
No.
I love my wife. Yes, take care of your stuff, fix your stuff. And believe me, if you get backed into, even if it doesn't look like there's damage, I'm getting a spam call. Hold on. Bye-bye, Houston spam call. All right. Now, where was I? What did I say?
You get backed into and it doesn't look like damage.
Yeah, even if it does, still get the cab card information for the other driver. Still exchange that. Exchange phone numbers. That cab card that's in your permit book, that cab card gives all the information that they need to file a report. If he hits your deer guard, he may not have done much damage to the outside, but there could be damage, depending on how hard he hits you. Because if he hits you slow and pushes you, that deer guard's hard to move and bend. But what happens when, after he leaves, and you go try to take that deer guard down, find out it's jammed, and you got to pay $1,200 to have it fixed. If you didn't get his cab card, oh well. And what's going to happen if you don't drop that deer guard and you don't do your pre-trip, you're going to have a major breakdown. Then again, ball joints, tie rod ends, stuff like that can be damaged in a light hit like that, because that piece of equipment is not used to being jarred in that direction. There's lots of things that you can wind up paying out of your pocket for just because you were being nice to let someone go. Not saying you have to file a claim, but if it gets to that point, at least that $1,000 isn't out of your pocket. It's out of his company's pocket or out of his pocket. Anything to add to that? Anyway, do us a favor, like, subscribe, comment, helps the algorithm. We're going to share it on our Facebook pages like we always do. Again, to our first godchild, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Brittany. Hi, sorry. There's a lot of those out there. It'll be okay.
And we're going to try to keep up a little bit more. If you have any ideas on a post you would like to know, like some information on, like our thoughts on, like our opinions on, just drop it in the comments and we'll get to it. And anything that's requested, we're going to put at the top of the list. All right, so as always, keep your shiny side up, your rubber side down, and your mirrors between the ditches. You have a great one.